I'm
Okay,
ready.
we're live now. Hello, everybody from Athens, the birthplace of philosophy. My name is Creston Davis, and I'm the director at the Global Center for Advanced Studies. Today we have an extraordinary intervention, and to introduce our guest, I would like to first introduce Michael D. Wassell, who is one of our researchers. He's also a student who's on the board of directors at the Global Center for Advanced Studies. Hi, Michael.
Hello, how are you doing, everybody? We have the Honorable Reverend Edward Pinkney here today with us. He's going through a extremely racist and unjust struggle in Michigan, and we just want to get this started with Reverend Pinkney. Just introduce yourself and let us know what's going on with your situation. We'll continue the
Very
conversation
good.
today.
Reverend Edward Pinkney from Benton Harbor, Michigan. The
Correct.
community is 94% African American. Probably 70% of the people live here is unemployed, and 90% of them live below the poverty level. We're in a fight here for our lives here. What they're doing is criminal, but it's not criminal unless we tell them it's criminal, because they believe that what they're doing is the right thing. So the fight is to win, to make sure that everything go along to the program. Let me start off and tell you how all this came about. Do you want me to go into that right now, or how do you want me to handle this?
That'd be great. Why don't you just give us kind of the linear historical trajectory of what's going on right now, the most recent stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Great.
What happened here? We decided to do a recall of the mayor, James Hightower. James Hightower, he's a puppet for the corporation. He just so happened to be a black man who decided that the people here in the city of Benton Harbor do not deserve to live here in this community, and it's a hostile takeover of the community. So we went out and did a recall on this young man. But here's the deal. He warned us. He told us that if you recall me, I'm going to use all my resources, which is Whirlpool Corporation, the prosecutor office, the sheriff department, and the county clerk. He said, if you decide to recall me, they're coming after you. He said, you don't have to do anything. They're just going to do it. But we said, okay, bring it on. We were successful at getting enough signatures to recall the mayor. They had set a date up for the election, the recall election, which was May 6th. May 2nd, they stopped the recall election. They had came to my home to arrest me. I had taken my wife out. It was her birthday, April 24th. And I was taking her out to dinner. And before we can get to our destination, I received a call which said that my house is surrounded. More than 30 agents, enforcement officers, had surrounded my house with the SWAT team. Remember, this is a recall petition. They called martial law. Nobody could go in their house. Nobody could come out of their house during this period of time while they had my house surrounded. They had the big trucks. They had the rifles, the snipers. They had it all right there. So it's obvious they didn't come just to arrest me. They came to do great bodily harm. But fortunate for me, I wasn't here. And bad news for them. But my wife and myself, what we did, we finished her dinner because it was her birthday. So I had to complete the dinner, get it over with. And once we finished, we went to the attorney's office. And the attorney called the prosecutor. And the prosecutor told the attorney that they had a warrant for my arrest. 5 charges of felony forgery on a recall petition. Basically, there is no such law, but it's the Pinkney law, because they was out to get me. They was gunning for me, and they decided that they was going to come get me. So my attorney told them that I would turn myself in, which they could have called me on the phone and I would have came in. But unfortunately, they had to send 30 to 40 law enforcement officers to surround my house and the community. It was so amazing that nobody would believe that such a thing could happen in a community. So what I did was, I turned myself in the very, very next day. But before I could turn myself in, the SWAT team was running all over the city of Benton Harbor, looking for me, trying to find me. They saw a young man who had a car similar to mine and threw him up against the wall and pressured him. And first thing they said, where is Reverend Pinkney located? Where is he at? You know where he's at. He didn't know anything that was going on. But they felt that it was my car that he was driving, so he had to know where I was at. So anyway, when we got to court, I came in. They came in like I was the president. About 8 or 9 patrol cars following me in. And when I got inside the courthouse, the first thing came about. They said this was the worst crime that a person could ever commit. And what they were saying, the crime was trying to recall the mayor and being successful. And they decided that this was a horrible, horrible crime. Nobody could commit a crime this terrible. And he went on for about 15 minutes telling me how terrible this crime is. I thought for sure that they were going to bring a dead body out the back and said I killed somebody, because he went on and on and on about this recall thing. So we had to remind him it's only a recall petition. You didn't have to send the army out to arrest me for a recall petition. They did that. They wanted to make sure that not only intimidated me, but the community. But it takes a lot more to intimidate me. So we're in the courtroom, the judge going up and down saying I'm the worst person there is in the whole wide world. There's nobody worse than you, Reverend Pinkney. What you have done, you tried to recall this mayor, this puppet for Whirlpool, and we're going to make you pay. He set my bond at $30,000 for a recall petition. Then he said I could not use the internet. My wife couldn't use the internet. And we could not have the internet inside our home. We had to have the internet removed out of our home. Then what they did, he put me under arrest 24/7. And he decided that they was going to monitor me by satellite with the ankle bracelet. It was like something you would never believe. The headlines in the newspaper, for 3 weeks, they had my picture on the front page saying, Pinkney did it. Pinkney did it. He changed dates on the recall petition, all the time knowing that I didn't do it. And actually, I don't believe anybody done it. I think it was done by the sheriff department. That's my belief. But anyway, after being under house arrest for more than 40 days, we had a hearing. They call it a preliminary examination, where the prosecutor produces evidence to see if there's enough evidence to take someone to trial. So during the process, they was talking about the smoking gun, the forensic guy. He comes in and he tells everybody that 2 ink pens was used to sign the petition. All right, well, that's not a problem. So we asked him, can you tell us when this was done? He said no. Can you tell us who did it? He said no. Can you say Reverend Pinkney did it? He said no. We asked him, why are you here? Why is Reverend Pinkney here? And the prosecutor said, we don't have any evidence at all to say that Reverend Pinkney did anything wrong, but we'll let a jury decide. And the judge echoed the same identical thing. He said, well, what we're going to do, we'll let a jury decide, because we don't need evidence here in the state of Michigan. He said, we can arrest you anytime we want to, and then you have to prove your innocence, which I never heard that before, even though I've been court watching for the last 15 years. I have never, ever, ever heard anything like that. So they came up with the Pinkney law, saying that if a petition date is signed, that it is forgery. There's no such thing as forgery on a recall petition. We all know that. But they see an opportunity to nail it. They knew I didn't have a lot of money. They knew how much money I had in the bank. They knew how far I can go. They knew what lawyer I could hire. They knew all this. And they used it to their advantage. When have you ever heard a prosecutor and a judge say that you don't need evidence? And they proved that. On October 27th, which was my birthday, the trial began. I was so excited just to see and get this thing over with. But unfortunately, we know how it happened. The very first day, the prosecutor called 8 witnesses. All 8 witnesses became our witnesses. We turned them into our witnesses. And the prosecutor didn't like that. It was a bad, sad day for the prosecutor team. The second day, he called about 25 witnesses who had signed the petition and said that they signed the petition on the date that's on the petition. All 25, not one person said they didn't sign the petition on the date that was on the petition. One lady, when the police came to her home, and here's another thing that I think that's important that most people don't understand. They went to people's home, kicking in their door for a recall petition. They was going to the front and back door with 3 police officers, watching these people, scaring these people, intimidating these people, trying to get them to be afraid and not go out and sign another petition. This one lady, she told them that I signed the petition and I messed up and I went over it, and I used a separate pen. Even before this even came out, she was telling him that she had did it. But they charged me with it after she said she done it. Everybody said they signed it on that date. They went back out there and tried to scare these people, and they couldn't do it. I'm proud of the community that stood up. Anyway, day 3 was the day the forensic guy came in. He came in he was a star witness. And we turned him into our witness because he could not say Reverend Pinkney did anything wrong. He couldn't say it. No matter what they tried to do, he couldn't say it. So now they have absolutely no evidence that I did anything wrong. On the 4th day, I testified myself. But before me, 3 people came in and said they saw a young lady. She really didn't change it. She was just making sure the 1s are 1s and the 2s are 2s on the recall petition. And they held that against her. They were saying, well, wait, how come she didn't come in and testify? Well, we wanted her to, but if she came in to testify, you would have arrested her. So we didn't want that. So when I got through testifying, it was really one exciting day. We had a very good week. All 4 days of the trial and half of the 5th day, we was the victors in that. They didn't have anybody to come in and say Reverend Pinkney did anything wrong. They didn't have anybody to come in and say that they didn't sign the petition on that day. They didn't have anybody to say that they was an eyewitness to Pinkney doing anything. But yet and still, this all-white jury that was motivated by something other than the truth found me guilty of count 1, felony, count 2, felony forgery, count 3, felony forgery, count 4, felony forgery, count 5, without one piece of evidence that said that I did anything. It was shameful. It was disgraceful. Nobody in the whole community could believe that something like this was happening. But it's there. They can do whatever they want. Just like he said, we don't need evidence. All we need is a jury that's willing to say that you did this with no evidence. And that is the holy truth. They had not one piece of evidence that could actually say that Reverend Pinkney did anything. And here's what it was. Even now, it's such a shameful thing. It's circulating around the country. People are really appalled at this, because how could you send, and it's a possibility they could send me to prison for the rest of my life with no evidence. And most likely, they're going to do it unless I'm able to stop them on that day.
And how would you, Reverend, how would you go about stopping them? What are the procedures, and how can we help?
Here's what we got. I really need to find a lawyer. I believe that the lawyer I have has flipped on me. His only concern is getting me sentenced and me to fight this thing from inside the prison walls, which make no sense to me. I really need a lawyer who could help me put together this brief to show them exactly where we at. They got a problem with that one juror, and that one juror might save my neck. We got the evidence to support it, but what we don't have, I don't have a lawyer that would do a brief for me. It's a short brief, but the point is, nobody around here is going to touch this case. Nobody. Okay. Nobody in the state of Michigan that I know of that will touch this case. Even if I had the money, which I don't, but they won't, it's not going to happen. But I'm working on it. If I have to do it myself, I will. But it's going to be done, because it's the only thing that's going to save my butt from being in jail for the rest of my life.
Wow. That is just astonishing.
That is crazy and insane racism at the highest level. I mean, and it happens so many places in America still. And people
we don't have a lock on that. It's, you know, people, they've been doing the same thing for years. They just gave a young man 45 years for not having ecstasy pills, for not having it. 45 years. The man didn't have no ecstasy pills, and they said they didn't find none on him. But if you got an all-white jury, most likely they're going to find you guilty, because if you're sitting on the other side of that table and they see you over there, in their mind, they're convinced that you did the crime, because you wouldn't be here if you did. Because remember, government don't make mistakes. That's the belief of most people.
Yeah, and we've forgotten that it's, you know, the democracy we live in is run by the people and for the people, and that's why you have a jury. But here you have a jury that seems to have been stacked against you, and especially in light of that threat of the fellow that was mayor or running for mayor, that threat that he gave you.
Yeah, absolutely. And he is strictly the puppet for Whirlpool Corporation. We used to have over 10,000 people living here in Benton Harbor. Now we got less than 9,000. No, I'm sorry, less than 10,000. And they slowly but surely driving the people completely out. They just built this Jack Nicklaus signature golf course. And remember, I just told you, 70% of the people that live in Benton Harbor is unemployed. 90% live below the poverty level. That's what we're dealing with right now. And who can buy a membership at a Jack Nicklaus signature golf course? Who can use that golf course? Wow. And also, they're building condominiums around it. $300,000 condominiums around this golf course. So they're telling us you won't be here long.
Reverend, do you think they're using you as an example to keep other people down? I mean, is this a? I mean, it looks like
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you hit the nail right on the head. They figured I'm the only one who would stand up to them, because just like they said, I'm the only one who would dare go up against them. But it's just not me. It's the community. You see, and that's why I want to make sure that I make this clear. I am extremely proud of the community, how they stood up, even though they came to their house to intimidate them, kicked in your door for a dawn recall petition, and surround your house, come to your house 3, 4 o'clock in the morning for a recall petition. Where are we living at?
Mm.
We must be living in Nazi Germany somewhere.
Oh my.
That's some crazy.
At this point, thank you, Reverend, for engaging us. Michael, do you have any questions? And then we could open up the. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm just wanting to know how our union specifically might be able to assist Reverend Pinkney. I'll be making general announcements and getting support, but if there's anything specific that you can think of right now, that'd be great.
All right, 2 things I can think of. One, I need finance. I cannot continue this battle without fighting, and that's what they're counting on. I got a PayPal.
And I think I have the address for that.
Okay, and that's crucial.
Right, PayPal.
Number 2, I need.
Go ahead and give the account.
Pardon?
Go ahead and give that account on here, actually, for where you can send the finances.
It's BH Banco, BANCO.org. BHBANCO.org. Banco. And what's even more important, I want people to write letters to this judge, and his name is Sterling Schrock, SCHROCK, 811 Port, P-O-R-T Street, St. Joseph, Michigan, 49085. And here's how I want them to say. I don't want them to be asking for leniency, because then that'd be like admitting that I did something wrong. I don't want leniency. I want them to say that, how can you convict a man with no evidence? How? You have to have evidence to convict someone. How did you do it? These are things I want to get out there. I don't want them to get away. If I have to go to jail, I don't want to go to jail with them thinking that now I'm regretting everything. I don't regret nothing that happened, because it could be the greatest movement in the history of mankind if we can show them that we're serious about what we're doing. And that's what they don't want.
Well, here, I will tell you this, at the school here, there was a professor in India that was being illegally harassed and ultimately fired for no reason by the provost at his university. And we petitioned the president of India from the faculty. We have the world's greatest faculty in philosophy and the humanities. And we petitioned, we got several thousand signatures, some from Nobel laureates, some from Pulitzers, and we managed to deliver that petition to the president of India, and the president of India made sure his job was given back to him. So that's the kind of thing. I should say, I don't know if there was a Pulitzer on the thing. I apologize for that. But the point is that we got all these faculty and thousands of signatures working for us, and ultimately he was granted his job back. Justice was done. Not just because of us. I don't want to take the whole credit, the school, but I'm telling you that this is one of the ways in which we could use to get the word out.
Definitely one of the means. By any means necessary, my friend.
Yep.
Hey, I love that. And I think that would be one of the tools that we need to put in our toolbox to show them who we are. Also, down at the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana, that would be another place down there, because they have what they call a young government, I believe, there at the University of Illinois. And
yeah, we've got a GEO. Yeah, the graduate student organization down here is great.
Yeah, so I think that we get them involved also, and to push this thing over the edge. And also remember this: December the 15th is the day they're supposed to be sentencing me. I need people to be here. I need an overflow. I need people coming from all over the country to make sure to witness this crap that's going on. So that would be another one of the tools that we can use.
Reverend, I want to know why you? Why you of all people? Why are they targeting you? Is it because you're a reverend and you stand up for justice? What is your platform in terms of your religion?
Well, I'm a Baptist pastor, and let me say this. Out of all the ministers that's here in the city of Benton Harbor, they hate my guts. The ministers now, they had a meeting one time, and they was telling each other how much they hated me. Let me say this to you. In 2008, I was sent to jail for quoting Deuteronomy 28, starting with the 15th verse. The judge said that Deuteronomy 28, starting with the 15th verse, was a threat on his life, his wife's life, his children's life, his children's life, and that I had to go to jail. And here's what they did. I spent 7 months in jail and another 4 months in the prison system. And all the ministers here got together and gave this judge an award for sending me to jail and prison. But here's what happened. The ACLU came in, got me released on appeal bond, then eventually it was overturned. See, one of the things that I do, I fight back. I don't believe in just laying down. If you got something for me, give it to me. Because I'm telling you, it's all about the people. And once we get that through our heads, it's not about Reverend Pinkney. I'm just another rock in this thing. But it's all about the people. And that's what we have to convince the people. It's all about them, not about me.
Yeah.
And Reverend, what is your social justice platform? I mean, the Whirlpool Corporation's there in your town. It's sort of taking your town over. I saw signs that truth is on the side of the oppressed. What is your position in terms of social justice, and how do you use Scripture to afford that? Because that's not normal in America. America, you have, yeah.
Here's what I do. I use the term like Jesus. When Jesus went into the temple, he had to turn over a few tables. And he had to pull his whip out and whip a few people to get them right. And I use that wherever I go. I tell people that I want to walk the earth like Jesus did. If you got a problem, you can call me any time of the day or night. People call me 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, and they know if they call me, I'm coming. If they got a problem with the police, I'm coming. You got a problem with the sheriff department, I'm coming. And they know that. So I'm the only one in town that's not intimidated by them, and that's what they hate. We got a great follow of people, but we're dealing with poor people. People, it takes them 24 hours just to eat and to find someplace to live. We got more homeless people here per capita probably than anywhere else in these United States. But the point is, they're steady driving them completely out of the community. And that's what my fight. My job is to feed the hunger, clothe them. That's to me, and house them. Find a way to get them out of this cold weather that we're facing today. And that's what I mean. And here's another thing that I do. I've been court watching since the year 2000. And they hate that. What we did, we filed a lawsuit against the court-appointed attorneys who didn't really defend people. And they would never talk to them until they're right in front of the judge and get them to plead guilty. So we had more people in the prison system than any place else per capita during that period of time. But we worked it out. We're in the Supreme Court right now with this situation. And this is our work. This is the work that we're doing, the community is doing. We're out here trying to show them that we're not intimidated by your action. Even today, I was at the courthouse yesterday. And the only reason I went there today because I was asked to be on this show. and I wanted to make sure that I had the time to get it together. But I'm at the courthouse every single day.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, anybody. Great to see you, Salim.
We have Sigrid coming in from New York. She is one of our faculty members.
Yes.
We have somebody from South Africa who was popped in. Denzel popped in from South Africa. I think his connection's not so good.
Yeah, he's a new union member, actually.
Oh,
and
great.
so is Mac. So is Mac, actually. And Mac, I think you're coming in from Colorado.
Excellent. Well, this is very powerful. This is very powerful.
Oh, yeah.
You know, absolutely, because it tells the story of the corporate and government merging together to attack the people. That's what it is. If the person
everywhere.
Yeah, all over the country is the same way. But we have an opportunity to win this thing. We can win if we figure out a way how we can let the world know that there's a major problem here, and I might go down, but the point is that don't stop the movement.
Yeah,
no doubt. But I can tell you, I'm going to spend the rest of the day, Reverend. I'm going to start organizing today to start helping this situation. Once this video is up on YouTube, we can all share it also to get the word out, and we can also write any messages on Facebook, send emails out. We'll start organizing completely from GCAS and get as much support for you as possible.
Hey, I appreciate that, because it's crucial that they understand how important it is, because it's Benton Harbor today, it's Champaign-Urbana tomorrow. You see, people don't quite understand that.
Right.
Right. And here's something else. I got a few minutes to talk about this. Have you ever heard of an emergency manager? We have what they call an emergency manager who's not elected, but he has absolute power. Public Act 4, we went out and got over 163,000 signatures to have it repealed. And what they did, after we were successful and put it on the ballot and won, they went out and got another, they had another one, Public Act 436, with more teeth, where you can't go and get signatures and have it repealed. Here's the power of an emergency manager. In Benton Harbor, when the emergency manager came, we had a decent mayor at that time. And what he did, he came and took the mayor's desk and put it in the basement to let him know that he had absolute power. Then he took all the commissioners, the other elected officials, he took their keys from them. They don't mind because they don't want to come to the office no way. But here's what they did. They took their cell phones. And you know you can't take a black man's cell phone. If you want to get in a fight, take that cell phone. Them guys decided they were going to do something. They came to me then and wanted to fight with me. And we did. We battled them, and we won a lot of battles. Here's something else they did. The emergency manager put our radio station on eBay. You cannot put FCC license on eBay. That's against the federal law. But this guy had so much power that they gave him that he was able to do some of these things. All the land that they wanted, Whirlpool wanted, he gave without the people caring or not. We're living in a time here in Michigan that's amazing. Also, another thing, water. Water is the #1 priority. We're surrounded by the Great Lakes. But here's what they did. When they cut your water off, they condemn your house. When they condemn your house, they call out DHS, and they come and take your children. That's what they've been doing here. They got all kind of tools to keep us under control. And then they use law enforcement to actually do this. It's shameful, it's disgraceful, but it's not shameful and disgraceful unless we say it is. You got too many people who's not saying anything.
Yeah.
We need as many voices as possible, and we'll provide as much as possible.
Sorry, Michael, I cut you off.
No, go ahead, Preston.
Well, I just want to say thank you for exposing Benton Harbor to all of us. And thank you for narrating your story. You're a strong, very powerful man, very, very full of spirit. And I just am honored that you have been with us in this past hour.
We all are.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. That's an important thing. And then we got to figure out, let's get the word out there, show people exactly what's going on, so we can win this battle. Because they believe that most of us can't do anything because we don't have the resources. That's
right.
what they're counting on.
Yeah.
Well, I can guarantee you I'll be up there December 15th because I'm so close.
All right, thank you.
But
All
I'm
right.
and I'm going to stay in contact with you, Reverend, so that we can get this organized as much as possible.
Absolutely.
If that's okay.
Let me give out my phone number too to everybody.
Okay.
It's 269-925-0001. Let me give you my email. I usually use Banco, BANCO 9342 at sbcglobal.net. And you can always go to my website, bhbanco.org. So I want to get the word out. I want people to understand that, you know, I'm in this fight for the long haul, you see, and I'm, you know, regardless what they say on the 15th means little to me. They could give me life, but if they do, they'll make me a hero that they would never ever forget. You know.
We're in it for the long haul here too at GCAS for sure.
Amen.
Any fight like this, especially yours, my friend.
Hey, appreciate it. Appreciate it. You did a good job getting me on too.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for working out the technical stuff. At this point, we have
it's my weak point.
Yeah.
Any final questions, thoughts for our guest? Okay. Well, then that should be it. Then, Reverend Pinkney, thank you so much. It's a real honor, and I really appreciate your courage. Your courage is strong, and it's powerful.
And thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and I expect to see Michael up here on the 15th, if nothing else. You know, it's going down, and we got to show them, make them either put up or shut up. That's the most important thing, because they think that we're so intimidated by them. And
they think
when you talk about
intimidated and they are wrong.
Yes, and we got to show them they're wrong and tell them. If we don't tell them, then it's going to continue. So get those letters out and get people to write letters. I don't want them to talk about leniency. I want them to talk about how can you convict someone with no evidence. And the judge even said we have no evidence, but we can still go to trial. Amazing.
Thank you so much, Reverend. It's real.
All right, thank you.
Have a great day. Stay warm up there. Okay.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Peace.
Thank you so much.
All right now.
Thank you.